Welcome to Inside Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. Exploring Towhee pipe module with real data. Steps to create embeddings on real text data. This is a video where the concepts start touching the real world tarmac. Why I'm telling this? Because till now we have explored the Towhee module that you are seeing here along with Python various concepts till now. So in the last couple of videos, I have introduced the Towhee nodes, the various nodes that is available in the pipe module, and then I have shared the couple of code how to work with the Towhee nodes. In this video, what you are going to do is we are going to take one of the question and answer dataset that is available in the internet, and we are going to do the embedding. We'll be using the Towhee pipe module, and I'll be showing you how to do that. This particular example that I'm showing is directly taken from Towhee examples itself. I'm not making this new, but the value that I'm adding is a little bit different here because the Towhee example uses Milvus database, vector store database. I'll be giving you a brief about how the database is structured and how to connect with it. That is one of the challenges I faced, and that will be an added point that you will be learning in this video, along with the process that you see for embedding the real world data. So with that said, let us jump into the actual code. There is not all the rest of the theory I've already explained in the earlier videos. You can take a look at that with respect to Towhee library, with respect to the pipe module, with respect to the data collection module. All this discussion I have already done in the earlier videos. You can take a look at this particular playlist, which contains the necessary information. So this also, you can take a look at the other playlist that is already available in my channel for better understanding about the Python ecosystem. With that said, the code that we'll be using for this particular video, I have shared it in my GitHub repo, trying QA underscore Towhee.ipynb. You can just use it inside the collab environment. And this collab environment we'll be using with Milvus database. So Milvus is a vector store database that is pretty stable. I mean, it's pretty has a very good ecosystem, has a very good backing from good team of technical experts. And the most important point I wanted to share is that you can host the Milvus database in cloud under zillist.com. Okay, so this particular video is not about zillist.com or Milvus. So this is purely this particular vector store. I am using it purely for the ease with which you can work with Milvus database along with Towhee pipe module. So you will see the interface in a couple of minutes. So before I go into that interface, I want to just show you around this zillist.com. You can sign up for a free account with zillist.com. They will give you $400 credit for using their services. I would suggest that create the new database. So you can create a default project, and inside that you can create a new database and ensure that you create it under GCP. In case of AWS, excuse me, I was facing some challenges in connecting to the connecting to the AWS instance. So try to use it in GCP. Once you create the database, inside the database you can start creating the collections. So you'll be given this kind of a public endpoint that you can work. Don't worry about that. I'm sharing my public endpoint. I'll be bringing this entire database down by the time the video hits the YouTube dashboards. The reason why I'm showing you this directly is that you need to understand this is the host part, this is the port part. You have to understand this concepts when you are going to work with Towhee pipe modules. So that is why I'm showing all these things to you guys. And inside the database you will have collections, and the collection that you will be creating is question answers. And inside the collection is like table. In regular databases you have table, but in vector stores you will have collections, and inside the collection you can see the schema, you can see the data preview, So Zillist.com has a wonderful interface for the vector stores that it creates, and for that, guys, you have to try this out. You will understand much better. So you see this embedding here. This is the same embedding that I had shared here as a comparison. So the concept that I am introducing all this the database to you guys, so that you can get a hang of something that is already online. So do use that free credits that is provided by Zillist.com and learn how to store your embeddings, how to work with the embeddings in real-time data. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys on Zillist.com. If you want further discussion on Milvus database and Zillist.com, do let me know in the comment section. I will try to work on that and provide you the feedback. With that said, let us go into the Google Colab notebook, where we'll start working on the example. So as I told you guys, this example is already taken from Towhee examples. So you can go to this particular GitHub repo and you can get this example as it is. Only difference is that I'll be showing you guys what is the difference. So we are going to work with Pymilvus library, which is an interface between Towhee, Python, and Milvus database vector store. So there are multiple entities in work here. So already Python library has been written. The code has been already written for you guys. So you have to just use it. Only thing is you have to understand how to use it. The example file that you are going to take is from Towhee examples. The example file will be a CSV file called question answer CSV. It will look like this. So just give it, it will look like this. It will have an ID, it will have a question, and it will have an answer. What we are going to do in this video is we are going to take the question and we are going to embed it. We are not going to embed the answers. So what we are going to do is we are going to embed the questions, and then we are going to ask questions in regular human text. So once you ask questions in regular human text, we can search for similar questions inside this database, and then we can provide the answer to a similar questions. So you understand, we are not going to do the embedding for the answers. So this is a very interesting idea that I got from Towhee, and I also wanted to share it with you guys. Again, this is shared by Towhee team. So it's not shared by me. Again, I'm repeating this because the developers who came across this idea, they have to be credited for their ideas. So this is the reason. But also, we have to also learn from the problems that those developers have found out, and I would like to share that solution with you guys. So this is the overarching concept around this video. So the question, we have downloaded the CSV file using this curl command, and we are loading it using pandas data frame. Now the fun starts. What happens is we will be setting up a pipe module in a moment. So if you guys are not aware of Towhee pipe module, take a look at my earlier video. I'll be attaching the link of that video in this video also. So take a look at the Towhee pipe module introduction video. That is very important for this understanding this video. And we are going to go little fast in this video because there are lots of things to cover in this. So here I'm creating two lists. One is ID answer and another is ID question. And I am going to create these lists from the data frame that I'm downloading. So data frame that I'm creating from question answers. And you can see the list how it is getting created. So ID question is just a question, and ID answer is the answers that comes with the question. So here I am importing the various Pymilvus modules and functions. This is where the actual things that you need to be very careful with. When you are connecting using connections.connect, so there is a concept called as connections inside Pymilvus. And when you are trying to connect it to the vector store Milvus database, you need to give this kind of a URI. You need to give the username and the password like this. So all these things you will have to set it inside the Milvus Zillist.com Milvus database, vector store database, right? All these things will be yours. So this is mine. I will be taking down this entire host. So this will not work. So don't try the same host name and try to connect. It will not work. When you try, you have to go to Milvus, you will have to go to Zillist.com, create your project, create your database. Okay, create your database, go into the database, then get the connection guide and then get all the necessary details. So you can take the connection guide and you can get the port, you can get the URA, you can get the port name, etc. It will be different for you guys. Okay, I'm just showing you as an example, but I am also showing you the entire database details here, the real database details here, because it is required. What was happening is, in my case, I was unable to properly execute it by using the simple examples. It was not working for me. So that's why I'm sharing everything here. And when it comes to this particular function, it goes and does multiple things. So first thing, it checks whether there is a collection name. So this creates a collection. That is, it creates a vector data store collection. It first checks whether the collection name is there. If not, then it creates the schema for the collection. So here we are going to have ID and embedding. So this ID is for reference and embedding is the question embedding. So we are only going to store the embedding. We are not going to store the question text data here. So you see how much it is different from the regular ETL. And so this is the collection schema that we create by using the Pymilvus modules and functions. And here we are actually initiating the collection. So this is the step where we are initiating the collection inside the Milvus database. And this part is also important. If you see the examples of Milvus database, you will see that in order to create the index, there are almost some 5 to 6 different index methods, index options, index types. But when you are going to work with Milvus database inside Zillus, you need to use auto index. So this took some time for me to find out. So use auto index or else it will error out. And then once this is all is done, and we need to create the index. So you see, we are creating the schema, we are initiating the collection using that schema, we are creating the index parameters, and then we are creating the index. I am actually not going into why we are creating the index, what is the theory behind it, because this is an application process that I am showing it to you right now. So do research the steps that I am sharing here. So if you are having any questions, do let me know in the comment section. I will try to provide you feedback. However, please understand, this particular video is where the theory meets the real world, the rubber meets the road kind of a concept. So it's going to be little rough. Try to wrap around the concepts and try to understand it. Practice, as I always say in my presentation, that you have to practice. And more you practice, the more you play with it, better you can master the concepts, and then you can solve your own problems more easily. That's something, the theme of most of my videos. And I hope that you like this video. Do like it and do share it with others. Subscribe to my channel so that further videos related to Towhee and various other Python related and large language and artificial intelligence related models will be shared with you guys directly to your YouTube dashboard. Let us go back to the browser. And here, as I told, I have explained this particular, and here I have explained this particular process of this this function. And all I need to do is give the question answer, the collection name, and the embedding dimension. So every model has different embedding dimensions, right? And the model that we are going to use is Facebook DPR context encoder. So this is what we are going to use. And this is the model that is going to be created using the pipe module, and this has a 768 length vectors. So let me go back here. What I am trying to say is, if I go into the collection, if I go into the data preview, each of these embeddings will be 768 elements. So each embedding will contain 768 elements. So that is what we are mentioning here. And that is required. Then only Milvus database will create the collection for you guys. After you create the collection, you have to first load it. So that is a process of creating the collection and loading the collection. This process is required for Milvus database to initiate the indexes and also the internal embeddings for getting queried. So that is an internal process. I am not very sure about how is the entire architecture working in Milvus. I am still trying to figure it out. As of now, this process you need to follow. Here comes the step. What we are doing here is that we are creating a pipe and we are mapping multiple steps here. So first of all, we are creating a pipe which takes in ID, question and answer. Why we are doing this, you will be understanding in a moment. So we are taking three data: ID, question, and answer. And out of that, we are only taking the question and we are mapping it to this particular function. Okay, this function pulls down the Facebook DPR CTX encoder and creates the embedding and assigns this embedding to the column. So what we are doing here is that the question alone is taken and vectorized, and then the vector is normalized by using linalg.norm from numpy, and then we are mapping the ID and vector and we are inserting it into, so this part, and insert ann insert, that is ann insert dot Milvus client. This is a module that has been written inside the Towhee operators. Okay, so this is why I am introducing Milvus here. If there is a client for ChromaDB, if there is a client for other database, other vector stores like Pinecone, then we can use those particular insert methods here, and instead of Milvus client, we can use those clients also. But at this moment, there is Milvus client already available in the Towhee operators. Okay, and inside the Milvus client, when you are going to use the host, port, user, and password, you need to make it different. So you cannot use the same connection method that you use here. This is the problem that I was facing. So that's why, I had to share everything here. So in connection, I'm using a different URI. You see this? I'm using URI, user, and password. But when it comes to Milvus client, which is going to be used for updating the embedding into the database, that process is, you have to separate it as host, port, user, and password. That is the only difference, and you need to give the collection name also. And this process, this particular line, what it does is, it takes the question, vectorizes it, embeds it, and then does the normalization of the embedded data, and then inserts the embedding into the collection. So all these three steps are done and the output is taken out here. Why we are taking these three inputs is because when we are going to read, what we are going to do is we are directly going to read the CSV file, and we are going to use CSV reader, and we are going to insert it into the pipe. So you see, when I'm going to use this method, so I'm going to take each row of the CSV file. So we saw the CSV file here, right? You saw the CSV file here, and in the CSV file, you will see there is ID, question, and answer. Each row will contain ID, question, and answer. So it will also be comma separated. And when I'm going to do that here, the pipe will see ID, question, and answer. So it will take only the question, that is the second element, and do all the process. So this is something that you guys have to understand what is going on here, and also you can actually play with it. And instead of using CSV reader, you can try to create a data frame, like how we created the data frame here, right? Where is the data frame? So you can use this data frame, and you can send the data frame also inside this pipe, but you need to modify this pipe for that. So try to modify it and see whether it works. Okay, so if you have seen my earlier videos on pipe module, Towhee pipe module, then you will have some fair idea. Play with it. Don't expect that you might succeed or you might fail. Don't worry about that. Just try it out, and then see how is the output. After I do the insert, so this insert will take considerable amount of time. Almost it takes it took around 4 to 5 minutes. In your case, it might be higher, little longer or little earlier, but give it time. So it will get inserted fully, and then you can check how many entities are there. Sometimes the entities comes as 0. Don't worry about that. You can go and check inside the ZIL list. Here you see it is showing me the inserted data is 1000. When you execute this code, initially you will get the value as 0. Don't get panicked. The data is still inside that. After you do the insert, you go and check it here manually. Inside the ZIL list cloud environment, you can check it manually. And then the next step, what you are going to do, this particular pipe only takes question, and what this question does is it is again converted to embedding, and then it is normalized, and instead of actually inserting, so we are going to search. So there is a process called as and.search, that is artificial neural network _ search Milvus client, and again in the Milvus client you have to use this format. And here, in addition to collection name, you have to give the limit. And there are lots of other options you can provide here, like the data that you want to take out of the database. You can provide the column names, you can provide the output format. There are lots of options here in the Milvus client. I am also not explaining those things to you in this video. I will try to make a separate video where I go into this process in a more detailed format. But for you guys to practice, you guys to get introduced to this concept, I want to share this video. So there is a very easy way of embedding, there is a very easy way of querying it, and also a very when you are having a huge amount of data and if you want to make a production ready model, this kind of pipeline is going to be very easy for you guys to test it. So working with multiple team members spanned across your organization can be made simpler by using such kind of a modular approach. So that is the reason why I'm sharing this particular ideas. And once I get the let us get back to the concept here. Once I get the result, so this is the result. This result will be the ID. So this result will be the ID inside this particular database. So for an example, if the question is very similar to this particular embedding, okay, I'm just giving an example. So if the question is that you provide in text format is very close to this particular embedding, then the result will be telling that the ID is number 20. So that is what the answer will be. So for an example, once I go through this process, the result will be result and answer. But here what is happening is I am taking the ID answer. So ID answer, I created it here, correct? Where is yeah, here is the ID answer, correct? And in the ID answer, I'm going to give the direct the index number, the list index number I'm going to provide. And this list index number, I am actually getting it from this result. So result, the result is going to be X, and inside the X there will be multiple results that comes out. I'm going to take the first result, and that first result I'm going to convert it into integer, and I am going to send it as a value to this particular array or Python list, and the output will be question and answer. So this pipe module is itself is little complicated if you directly look at this video. So take a look at my earlier videos that I showed to you in my playlist. That will make your life far more easier and understand this particular example very smooth. Or else you have to do a lot of practice, you have to do a lot of understanding of this particular code, and you have to hack it a lot. So it's better that you watch my earlier videos before you start this. And this is the input that we are giving, that is a question that we are giving, and the question goes through all these steps, and out comes the answer. So this is the question I'm giving, and out comes the answer. Not generally, there are 5 states that require most of all employers carry short-term disability insurance. So this is the entire process it goes through. And as I was explaining in the PDF, the pipe, the entire there is almost 1,000 different questions here. All the questions are embedded and loaded into Milvus database, and then you are querying the Milvus database using an interface that is repeatable and also which is very robust. You are not coding anything, you are just using the code that is already written. Towhee is open source. That is a code that you are already written. You can use that code and you can query it in a Pythonic fashion. So this is very interesting technology that is being already established right now. This is not something new, it is already there and most of the people are using. That is the reason also why I am sharing it with you guys. And I hope that you understand. I hope that you like this content. Do leave a like, share it with others, and also subscribe to my channel so that further updates on Milvus database, also related to Towhee module and various other Python libraries linked with Hugging Face, the large language models and artificial intelligence models will also be shared. And once you subscribe, all these videos uploads will directly get updated to your YouTube dashboard. With that said, I would like to take a leave with 4 words, as I always say, that is practice, 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 practice. See you guys. Have a great time.